There we go. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Today is Thursday, October 5th, and welcome to Coffee with Marcus and Mark. Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Good morning, Marcus. I'm great, and I hope everyone else is doing great as well.
All right, fantastic. So, today we're going to talk about an exciting topic. So, it'll be really a cool session here this morning, but let's see, who here wants to make money with trading? Come on, type in a yes in the chat box. Let me see that you're live. Oh, yeah. And who here wants to make enough money with trading so that you can quit your job? Exactly, right? Yeah. Now, who here wants to make so much money with trading that you can travel the world and live the lifestyle you always dreamed about? Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. And we want that for you. Now, let's see. How many of you want to get as much as possible out of our time together today? Yes, 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 yes. We want that for you because for most of you with us here today, this is going to be a long-term relationship between us. I promise you. Because once we show you how simple this is, once we show you an easy way to trade, once you realize that this actually works, once you realize that you can do that too, you will want to hang out with us for a lifetime. I promise you that. All right, so this morning, want to see what the markets are doing, and then we are going to talk about winning percentage because yesterday we had a fantastic question about the winning percentage and our filter criteria in PowerX Analyzer. So let's take a look at the markets here together. So this morning in the upper row, we see the E-mini S&P, the E-mini NASDAQ, and the E-mini Dow. While the E-mini S&P and the Dow are pretty much at around the unchanged mark, the NASDAQ is running away, Mark. Look at this. I mean, the NASDAQ is on the run here this morning.
Yeah, I mean, Marcus, is clear to see that the Nasdaq's just shooting straight up. But gosh, doesn't it feel like the Dow and the S&P just with these small overnight ranges? It's a big bundle of yarn that's about to unwind. Maybe shooting
Right.
higher, maybe shooting lower. We'll find out. But gosh, it's so slow going into the open. But we do have a key report tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow we have the jobs report, right? So that is one of the key
Yep.
reports that everybody's paying attention because the decisions of the Fed about when to raise interest rates, they are monitoring the jobs report really, really closely.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And we'll find out how jobs were last month with the hurricane situation. So will the traders just kind of discount a poor jobs report if it happens because of the hurricanes, or will that kind of create some concerns? Who knows? Who knows? As we always say, you need to trade what you see, not what you think. But with these slow overnight sessions and hardly any movement in two major indices like the S&P and Dow, that makes me think that something's about to happen. But you're right, the Dow or the Nasdaq and techs are just moving. So we'll
Yeah,
see if that continues
absolutely.
once we open.
Well, then here at the bottom we have crude oil, in the middle we have gold, and on the right-hand side we have bonds. And I mean, crude oil has been on the move for the past few days. This morning, rather quiet here in crude oil, which is a little bit unusual. I mean, yesterday we had the crude oil inventories, and crude oil reacted to this, and now this morning, rather quiet compared to the previous days.
Yeah, and last week we had that pop higher getting clearly above the 50 mark, trading around 52, making an approach to 53. But it definitely seems like we're stuck right now, right around that $50 a barrel mark. And uh, will we get some movement during the session? I don't know, but this is a pretty narrow range for crude oil as well.
Yeah. But I mean, for our Seahawk strategy, it doesn't matter. And this morning we already had a trade
Exactly.
according to the Seahawk strategy. So this was a quick win. And we have another order in the market here right now. So this morning, if you're trading just a single contract, a quick $60 here. So we only traded for an hour. So it's only between 9 and 10 Eastern time. So we started a little bit before coffee with Marcus, and then while having coffee with Marcus, keeping an eye on this. We need to adjust this to 50.05 mark. I'm going to do it here.
Okay, I'm doing it right now.
Are you doing it? I'm doing it.
There you
There
go.
we go. Okay, good. Good. So this is according to our Seahawks strategy, and you have seen it over the past few days. I mean, it nicely chucks away, right? I mean, it's not massive gains, but I mean, you're putting a little bit of money in your account almost every day. So this is why we like trading the Seahawks strategy here, in addition to everything else that we are doing. All right, fantastic. So let's talk about winning percentage. I want to bring up the notepad. Oh, I have this from yesterday. We had more binary option trades, right, Mark? Did we have two yesterday or just one?
Yesterday I think it was just one that triggered. I'm checking just to be
I know
sure,
that it was a
but
winner.
we had a couple. Yeah, yeah, we definitely had another winner.
So I mean,
Um,
this week is really going well, and I don't know, it was probably another $25 or something like this, $27. So we should be up probably to $160 for every $1,000. So
yep, we
16%.
had a winner in the Dow.
Right. So that's not bad at all. I mean, if you guys are not trading binary options yet, you definitely need to look into this. And don't want to talk about binary options this morning. We've been doing this, and we'll revisit binary options next week again. So, but let me get rid of this here, and let's talk about the winning percentage, because there was a question of why we are in our filter when we use PowerX Analyzer. Why do we use, let's go back here to the scanner. Why do we use a winning percentage of minimum of 40%? And why don't we use 70 to 80%? And you see, this is something that many newbies, so many traders who are new to trading say, okay, I want to have a high winning percentage. Because if I have a high winning percentage, then if we have a winning percentage of 70 to 80%, okay, that's fantastic. Then most of our trades are winning trades. Now I want to show you something here where you can see that there's a very strong correlation between the winning percentage and the risk and reward. So what do I mean by this? So risk and reward is where we say, okay, let's say we want to risk $100, and then we are looking to make $100. So this is a risk reward ratio of 1-to-1, right? So typically what you see when you have risk reward ratio of 1-to-1, you see that the winning percentage is somewhere at around 50% to 60%, somewhere around this. Now, when you change the risk and reward, and let me just go to an extreme. Let me just say, you know what? We want to risk $10,000. Say we want to risk $10,000, and we just try to make $100. So this is where typically you should see a winning percentage of probably 99%. So this is one of the extremes, right? So this is where, for example, this morning we say, you know what? We just buy a contract of the E-mini S&P, and all we do is that we go for 1 point. So as soon as we move from 38 to 39, boom, we're taking money off the table. And in order to do this, we're risking $10,000 or $100,000, or we don't put a stop loss in there. So you see, eventually we will get this 1 point. But this then comes with a very high drawdown usually, right? Because we have to suffer through a high drawdown that the market might turn around against you before it finally goes up. So let's use the other extreme, and let's say, okay, so the risk reward, let's say we want to make $100. No, let's say we want to risk only $100, and we want to make $10,000. Okay, this doesn't happen too often where where the market is just running away. So this is where we maybe have, what would you say, Mark, a 1, 2, 3% winning percentage. I mean, this doesn't happen very often. Let's just say 2%. Why not, right? So doesn't happen often. And in fact, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do right now. So I want to show it to you that you see the exact correlation. So I'm going to bring up here the Seahawks strategy that we like to use. And here's what I'm going to do. Right now we are using a profit target of $60. And let's say how this changes. So the profit target is $60. And let's see what happens if we would risk $20 or $40 or $60. So I'm going to run this here really quick. And I want you to take a close look at the winning percentage. So this will take just a moment, probably takes around 35 seconds here because we're compiling a lot of data here. So this is where you do some back testing and where we're looking back over the past few months, actually. And so what you'll see here, where it says in the first column test, this is where it will say, okay, in order to make $60, let's say that we are risking $20, or we are risking, and this is the next row that comes up here, $40. And I don't want you to pay attention to the net profit. I want you to pay attention to the winning percentage, to this column here, okay? Because that's what we are talking about here this morning. We talk about the winning percentage. So let's see, this is where we go. Okay, and there it is. So I'm going to move this a little bit higher and bring my notepad back up here. So what you see here is that our reward is fixed. And our reward is fixed, and we want to make $60. And now the question is here in row 1, if we risk $20, ooh, we have a winning percentage of only 19%. So let's just say, because I want to write it down here, so the risk reward, so we are risking $20 and we're trying to make $60. And this is where you see here in this example, the winning percentage is only at around 20%. So now if the risk and reward, if here we say we want to risk $40 trying to make $60, you will see that now the winning percentage jumps up to 39%. So let's say at around 40%. Then if the risk to reward is 1-to-1, meaning that we risk $60 trying to make $60, you will see that now the winning percentage jumps up to 53%. Oops, there we go. Okay, and you see how this continues. So there's a very strong correlation between the risk and reward, and that's what actually what I want to do. This is why it looks so odd. Between the risk and reward and the winning percentage. So this is when here we're looking at a winning percentage. This is what somebody asked. Why don't we use a winning percentage of, let's say, 70%? Sure, no problem. We can do this. So this is where now we have to risk $120 trying to make $60. And this is where the winning percentage now is at 71%. And this is what we're doing here with our Seahawk strategy. So just be aware that the risk-reward ratio, you're risking more to make a little, and this is how you're buying a high winning percentage. Mark, am I explaining it in the right way? And I know that you're sending out binaries right now, so I just want to see if you have a minute to chime in here. If not, no worries.
No, Marcus, I think you did a great job there.
Okay.
The bottom line is that the higher winning percentage is attractive, and higher accuracy is attractive, but it really comes down to profitability. And so that's where I'm perfectly okay looking at a winning percentage of 40, 50, 60% when the PowerX target is 2, 3, 4, 5 times the risk, right?
Right.
But if I'm looking at risk reward that's about equal, in this case, equal risk reward has a 53% winning percentage. And as Marcus showed, the 71% winning percentage, we actually have an inverse risk reward. So we're risking more than we are making potentially on the trade. And so it's a trade-off. It's a trade-off. I know that when traders first get interested in trading, that higher accuracy, being right, winning and not losing is so important, but then we have to focus on what the reality of the markets are and of the trading strategies that we use. As an example, binary options. There are times when we might get in at a better, like an equal risk reward or even better, but many times we're risking 60 to make 40 or 70 to make 30, and it's working well.
Exactly. So now when you look at this, you might say, oh my gosh, so if I just increase the risk, let's say here in our example, to $200 trying to make $60, you now get up to a winning percentage of 76.5%. So almost 77%. So this is where the winning percentage is so misleading, because you think, oh my gosh, a higher winning percentage, I should make more money, right? So this is more money? No, wrong. I mean, look at the table. This is where you see the net profit here. And you see that the net profit here, do you see that there's actually a sweet spot where you risk $100 trying to make $60? This is where you get most of the net profit. So having a high winning percentage, and let me write this down because this is so important. High winning percentage does not mean high profits. So that is very, very important, because many people think, oh my gosh, if I just had a winning percentage of 70, 80%, I would make a killing. No, you don't, right? So this is why when we are looking at the profitability of a trading strategy, we are looking, of course, at net profits and not the winning percentage. And you see here, the sweet spot is actually where we have a 67%. So with this strategy, the best winning percentage is 67%, right? And again, right now I'm just using this as an example, so don't get hung up on this. As you know, we're using slightly different parameters there. We can talk about this another day. But this is where it is so important that you understand that winning percentage is just one of the things that you look for. And you see, when we look at PowerX Analyzer, so I want to go back here to PowerX Analyzer, and when we are applying the filter, do you see where we have the winning percentage? Here at the very, very bottom. Why? Because it is the least important out of all the others. You see, the profit factor. The profit factor is actually one of the most important things that you can look for, because it tells you for every dollar that you risk, how much dollars did you make? So here, if you look at SIEN, that's the stock that we have been looking for the past few days, the profit factor is 609, meaning for every dollar that you lost, you made $6. That is important to know. Now, we did this and we only had a 56% winning percentage. So what? I mean, that's fantastic. The winning percentage is the least important out of all these things that you can look at when evaluating the strategy. The first and most important, obviously, what is the most important? Let me ask you. Come on. Let me help you. What did we put on top here? The profit. If you don't make money with a strategy, the winning percentage and nothing else counts, right? So the profit obviously is the most important. Then I believe that we have to filter by price. Third most important is the profit factor. Then the risk and reward. Then the number of trades. And then at the very, very bottom, the winning percentage. And you know that until recently, we didn't have it, even have it in there. You couldn't even filter by winning percentage because it doesn't matter. Okay. So anyhow, let's see if there are any questions around this, because I know that this is something that, especially if you're new to trading, you might say, whoa, mind blown. If so, good for you. Because this is what makes the difference between a successful trader and a trader who's just chasing the Holy Grail. Because a trader who is chasing the Holy Grail is just looking for a high winning percentage, and it doesn't matter. Okay, let's see if we do have any questions here that we can answer. And here's what I'm going to do. We're going to stick around here and answer a few more questions, but I'm going to stop the recording here. So for those of you who are watching the recording, please join us live in Coffee with Marcus and Mark, and we'll answer your questions live here. I hope this session was helpful for you if you're watching the recording. Please make sure that you understand that winning percentage is not that important, and that you can always buy yourself a high winning percentage with having a very inverse risk-reward ratio here. All right, y'all have a great day, and I'm going to stick around here and answer a few more questions.